I'm Alan Norton, Workforce Development Executive with the Pennsylvania Chamber of Business and Industry. Workforce has become the cornerstone of our mission because in recent years, employers across the state have ranked the skills gap as the single most important issue affecting their ability to grow and remain competitive in today's economy. From 2000 to 2018, college enrollment increased by 26%. Yet our 2018 economic survey, the Pennsylvania business community said that finding qualified applicants to fill open positions was their number one concern. This trend continued in 2019 and continues today. Forget what you think you know about career and tech ed schools. They're no longer the vocational schools they were in the 80s and 90s, but rather high-tech facilities preparing students for many of the careers that exist in today's economy. Career and tech ed schools play a vital role in meeting the workforce needs of today and tomorrow. Recently, I sat down with Dave Taylor, President and CEO of the Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association, to discuss the value of career and tech ed schools and their graduates. Here's some of our conversation.
So, David, Pennsylvania ranks third highest in student loan debt. 43% of recent college graduates are considered underemployed, and according to our business surveys, lack of skilled workers is the number one issue facing Pennsylvania businesses.
Yes, sir.
So, why should students considering a career in tech ed education?
Well, there are tremendous opportunities for starters. At any given point in time, there are about 6,000 open manufacturing positions in Pennsylvania where our members are looking for qualified new hires. And the manufacturing sector, it adds the most value. It's the sector of our economy that, because of the manufacturing process, taking raw goods or raw materials or component parts to make finished good, that the manufacturing sector adds the most value, and therefore it has above average salaries and benefits and pensions. And so these are really good family sustaining jobs. And those numbers show that our employers are just aching for more people who have these skills or who are capable of undertaking the discipline of getting these skills, and it's too difficult to find them. So the opportunity that's there for somebody who would seek out CTE training to be an electrician or plumber or HVAC or a machinist, you name it, there are great jobs waiting to be had.
What does an entry-level role in manufacturing look like today?
What I hear from our employer members mostly is that they need people with those basic skills of show up on time, put in a full day, maintain focus, to be able to communicate both verbally and in writing, to be able to do basic math, to not mouth off to the supervisor, scare the customers. I mean, that's sort of like the absolute baseline. But beyond that, I mean, for somebody who has a more advanced skill set, for example, we were up at Penn College of Technology in Williamsport and saw their mechatronics lab. And that mechatronics is, it's hard to describe, like making machines but powering them at the same time. So it's a combination of machining and electronics. And those graduates are headed off for great paying careers because there just flat out aren't enough of them.
Mm-hmm. And the CTE schools are starting to offer mechatronics programs. So these are middle skill technology jobs, basically.
Yes.
It's not the manufacturing jobs of our parents and the grandparents in the 60s and 70s.
And that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that manufacturers are the number one investors in research and development, and they're the number one consumers of information technology. So, when you talk about the high-tech jobs of the future, you really are talking about manufacturing.
And I think that ties in well with, CTE schools don't look like they did in the 70s and 80s either. Your manufacturers who are hiring students from these career tech ed schools, what are some of the things you're hearing about the graduates of these programs?
Tremendous gratitude, mostly. I mean, that as I said, our employers are really experiencing the negative effects of the skills gap and the workforce crisis, and that it becomes a hard cap on economic growth. That you can't bid for new work because you can't hire a third shift because you can't find enough qualified people. So those employees who they can bring on board who have these skills that are such in demand, employers are tremendously grateful for having them on board. We've also, Alan, one of the things that people need to realize is that society has changed. You talk about how the schools are different. The economy is different too. That we've reached a crossover point because of demographics and also because of the overemphasis on sending young people to the four-year degree program, that we have more jobs available than people looking for work. And there's no going back. That's going to be where we are, which means that employers, they're going to have to cast the net wider to find new hires, candidates they might not have considered before, but also that employers are going to have to care a whole lot more about how work feels for employees, and making sure that their employees feel like they're being well cared for, that they're members of the team, that their needs are being met. Our whole economy needs to evolve in that way, and part of that evolution is that we as a society need to honor all kinds of work, and the makers and the doers and the people who have those skills that you can acquire at a CTE, they're indispensable to our civilization, to our quality of life. All of us enjoy this very high and ever rising standard of living, but we've stopped thinking about how those things are made possible. And it's those kinds of skills, with bending our physical world through electricity or through fluid dynamics or machining or what have you. Like, all of those processes make possible the goods and services and experiences that make modern life so wonderful.
Sometimes I hear parents still have that stigma in their mind of, what a CTE school, and certainly
Yeah.
CTE schools don't look like they do 20, 30 years ago. What do you say to parents who are hesitant to let their children go to a career and tech ed school?
Not everyone is meant to go off to an academic institution for a four-year degree. Many people are, and it's great for them, and they need that, and I'm glad that they get to have that. But to say to everyone that you have to do this, especially a young person, to say, you're going to waste your life if you don't chase the golden ticket of a four-year degree. And Alan, this is how we wind up where we are, with people who are underemployed, with people who are dragging the ball and chain of massive student debt. Actually, the worst outcome is when a kid has been essentially bullied into pursuing that path. That student is in for a semester or two, and then they wash out. Well, at that point, they have racked up the debt from the time that they're there, but they have no credential to go along with it to increase their earning power. And so when you look at these CTE programs and you see that they are much more compact in time, that they are much more affordable in cost, and that they can impart a skill, once you have that skill, it's yours and you own it. And it also makes it possible for you as a person working on your career to be actually earning a salary at a job while you're pursuing more school. There's no reason why somebody who gets a degree to become an electrician can't then work as an electrician while pursuing an engineering degree. I really think that parents and and superintendents and principals and guidance counselors are doing a disservice when they insist on moving every kid into that one-size-fits-all conveyor belt of pursuing a four-year degree. There are a lot of great things that are happening with the CTE programs, and a lot of really great results that are waiting for the people who choose to take that path.
So it sounds like even if I do, say, a mechatronics program at a CTE school, go work at a manufacturing plant when I'm 18, making good money.
Yes, sir.
And then I decide, I want to go on and become an engineering tech. Will the manufacturing community help me pursue that degree?
There's an urgent need for upskilling. And in fact, one of the great flaws one of the multiple flaws of our sort of job training workforce development system is, not enough help for upgrading the skills of incumbent employees, because of course in all of our fields that the world is not standing still. There are always new technologies, new processes, new developments that have to be incorporated into into the operations on the plant floor. But yes, in many instances you do have employers who want to help to upskill their employees to build more loyalty, of course, with that relationship with the employee, but also to be able to bring in-house more advanced skills. And many times the CTE graduates, if you are an electrician, you are a carpenter, you are a plumber, you are an HVAC person, that a lot of those folks, once they learn the business from the job, the first job they go to, a lot of them go out and start their own businesses. And that's another way to to be in control of your life, to create wealth, to build up the world that you live in.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me about manufacturing in PA and the need for CTE graduates.
It's been great to be with you, Alan. Thanks so much.